And what's going on? We've got birds, we've got sirens. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another recipe video. And today we are making chocolate dipped no churn ice cream sandwiches on a stick. I really wanted to try making a Magnum type ice cream. Only trouble is I don't have the Magnum molds, which you can buy, but I didn't feel like going out and buying yet another gadget for my kitchen. Who keeps slamming things outside? And even though I know I will eventually crack and go out and buy those, I'm trying to exercise some self-restraint, and this time I'm just going to work with what I have. While coming up with this recipe, I suddenly realised that adding a stick to an ice cream sandwich is kind of superfluous, because the whole nature of an ice cream sandwich is you can just hold it with your hand. It doesn't need a stick. But then I thought I want to dip it almost as much as a Magnum, and that's going to be difficult to hold the sandwich and then dip the whole thing in without getting my hands all chocolatey, so stick it was. Another problem I think I'm going to face is you need quite a lot of chocolate to be able to dip a large sized ice cream all totally covered. That was a weird sentence, my words got away from me. So it's probably just going to be mostly covered. Never a dull day in London. Anyway, where was I? That completely threw me off track. Oh yes, ice cream. This is going to be super simple. Please don't mind the bird as the bird continues to chirp outside. Great for a really hot summer's day, especially in the UK like me, where air conditioning isn't a thing in homes, because the only heat you're going to need is a little bit of heat on the stove to melt that chocolate. As for no churn ice cream, we have actually made no churn ice cream on this channel before. A couple of times actually, with different flavours. The difference with this ice cream is we're going to make it thick enough to be able to pipe straight onto our biscuits, and it's going to hold its consistency so we don't need a mould. This is quick and simple to assemble. You're just going to need a little bit of patience for it to freeze overnight, as with any ice cream. So let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. First we're going to take 300 millilitres of double cream, add a tiny pinch of salt, and we're going to whisk this up until it forms soft to stiff peaks. There we go. Now we're going to add half a can of sweetened condensed milk and a teaspoonful of vanilla bean paste. I'm going to add a heaped teaspoonful. Oh, someone started cutting their lawn. No matter what time of day, no matter what day, whenever I start filming, someone starts cutting their lawn. And we're going to give this a quick whiz too. There we go, easy. Now I'm going to scoop all of this into a piping bag, which I've prepared with a wide round tip, and I've set it on top of a cup to make life a bit easier. And I'm just going to scoop this straight in here. Now because we're going to make 5 of these ice creams, I've got 10 of these butter waffle biscuits in total. This is the brand that I'm using, by the way. Some supermarkets do their own brand, but this is on sale and I can't resist me a bit of a sale. So these are the butter biscuits that I'm using today. As you can see, they're nice and thin, and it handily comes in a pack of 10. So of course, because we're making 5, we're going to use 10 in total. And I've got 5 ice lolly sticks here, the wooden ones. I'm going to set these aside for a minute. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe half of this, divide half of this between our biscuits, straight on, just like this. Set this aside for a second. And we're going to place a lollipop stick, whatever you call these, popsicle stick, in the centre, like this. Now we're going to pipe the rest of our ice cream batter on top. These are going to be fat. And once we've used all of our batter up, we're going to gently squish these on top. That's our sandwich. And now we're going to freeze these overnight, so good night, see you tomorrow. It's the next day and I've melted and tempered 350 grams of milk chocolate. You don't actually have to temper this time because we're going to be keeping it in the freezer, so it doesn't matter if the chocolate is properly tempered to set or not, because it's going to be solid in the freezer. But if you want the proper snappy set chocolate experience, then do temper it. I have done a video on how to temper chocolate without any fancy ingredient before. I'll put a link up above now and down below in the description. And now we're going to take our lollies for a dip. They may not go all the way through, it's very difficult to find a big enough container for this. We're just going to dip it straight in, give it a little wiggle, dip it straight out and give it a shake. And you can see it's already starting to set, so I'm going to set this down here now. And we're going to continue with all of these. For the last ones, you'll probably have to tip the container a little bit as the chocolate levels go down. If you want to be extra particular about it, you can spread a little bit of the leftover chocolate around the bottom on one of the sides, especially those ones at the ends where the chocolate levels rise, or lower rather, a bit too much, and you can't really get all the way down. And now we're simply going to store these in the freezer until ready to eat them. And look, you've already got the really lovely set chocolate, so if you have actually tempered the chocolate, it will set by itself. Even at room temperature it will set, so I do recommend tempering your chocolate. How amazing do these look? Oh, I'm so excited to eat one. Right, I'm going to do a thumbnail, I think, and then I'm going to chomp into one before they melt. Wow, I love the waffle impression that the chocolate made on it. Right, it's now or never. I'm going to bite straight into it, so cheers. That is seriously good. Be right back, gonna take some more shots. And if you're wondering how I was going to slow-mo shot this, this is how it went. Yep, whoops. Wow, that went flying. I shouldn't have done that with my non-dominant hand. Anyway, there you go. That was a kind of slow-mo, even though it was a fail. And you know what? The decision to add a tiny bit of salt to that ice cream batter itself was the perfect decision. And because these are like French butter biscuits, there's a little bit of salt in the biscuit itself too, so it just makes it extra buttery and creamy. Oh, I'm so happy with how this turned out. And the great thing about this ice cream is it's so stable that you don't have to rush to eat it. It's not going to start dripping on you because we whipped that cream up nice and thickly, so it's not going to go runny. Obviously, it is going to melt after a while, so don't hang around to eat it, but you don't have to rush either. This is beautiful, and it was super fun to make too. I hope you try it at home too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video, and I hope you will join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I'm tashcakes.tastes, and find me on TikTok too. I'm tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Speaking of food in slow motion, I'm going to need to do a slow motion cut of this, otherwise there isn't going to be any. Future Tash here, and we all saw how that panned out. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you'd like to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you guys next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. It's a few days later and I couldn't stop thinking about how the stick was superfluous, and actually, you know, the stick in that case was totally fine because it was a fat sandwich and we really wanted to dip it all in the chocolate, but I couldn't help think, you know what, it would also be nice as just an ice cream sandwich. So what I did was I halved the cream mixture inside, I halved the amount of chocolate, kept the amount of biscuits the same, 10 in total to make 5 sandwiches, and I just made partially dipped sandwiches too, so this is also an option.